I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
Are your ulcerative colitis symptoms proving difficult to manage? Tremfya guselkumab can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. At 1 year, many patients taking Tremfya achieved clinical remission, and some patients also achieved endoscopic remission. Individual results may vary. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor if Tremfya can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more, or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Hi, and welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I'm the founder of the Food Truck Training Group on Facebook, co-owner with my beautiful wife, Melissa, of our own food truck. It's called Food Truck 101, and I'm the executive director of the National Street Food Vendors Association, which is a nonprofit dedicated to education, advocacy, and uplifting all food vendors. Today, I'm going to talk to you about struggling with your food business. It's the wintertime. Lots of folks slow down in the winter, and lots of folks struggle even in the summer. So we're going to talk about how you can kind of change the attitude that you have about your business and move forward. My dad used to say, you can either live until you die or die until you're dead, which is a choice. You can either be super excited about life, you can get out there and do things to make your life move forward in all categories. It doesn't just have to be work or your business. Certainly your social life, your family life, your spiritual life can all move forward, but you got to decide to do it. And then, of course, the other side of that coin is, or you can just die until you're dead, which means everything is miserable. It means you hate life, you hate getting up in the morning, you look for things to complain about. And you may not even realize you look for things to complain about. They talk about people getting grumpy as they get older. Certainly, Melissa calls me a grumpy old man from time to time. And I don't try to be. Sometimes when you see things that are not right, you tend to sound a little grumpy when you're just explaining them. But the point is, you're still pointing out what's wrong rather than celebrating what's right. It's easy to fall into that pattern, especially as an entrepreneur, because we wear so many hats. We're not like any of the local restaurant chains where they've got a whole marketing department with a handful of people in it, or they have an accounting department, or they have a repair and maintenance department, they have a training department. They have all of those different people that are in charge of a small segment of the business, and it all comes together to hopefully run a successful business. But then again, how many of those chains that you may have grown up with no longer exist? And they had big payrolls of people that were supposed to be the experts in certain areas of running the business, and yet they no longer exist. For example, Burger Chef. And there are many, many other examples. But Burger Chef is one that I actually know because we ended up being the largest franchisee of Burger Chefs, and that being RAC, which is the Restaurant Administration Corporation, and we had several different chains. Our biggest one, of course, was Rax. That's the company the parent company to Rax Restaurants. But we also had some Western Sizzlers, we had some Ponderosas, we had a couple of Wendy's at one point, and then we did have a bunch of Burger Chefs. We ended up being one of the biggest franchisees of Burger Chef. And in a lot of cities, we would put a Rax and a Burger Chef side by side. Sold two different menus, and we owned them both. So if people came to that part of town, we didn't care whether they had a burger or they had a roast beef sandwich. Burger Chef at one point was nearly as big as McDonald's, this being in the late 60s, early 70s. But there are 0 Burger Chefs left. There might be a couple operating here and there, but certainly nowhere near the couple of thousand they had in the late 60s, early 70s. So them with a big company, whole bunch of people, still failed. There are many food truck owners that do it all. They cook, they clean, they cashier, they do the prep work, they do the repair and maintenance, then they do the marketing, they do the accounting, they pay the bills, they do the shopping. They're doing it all. They may have family support. They may not have family support. They may truly be a solo entrepreneur. But it's real easy when things aren't going right to start blaming everyone else. Sales are down. Well, it can't be my fault because I'm still an awesome cook. So it has to be those people out there that don't have money, or that new food truck that just came in town that's selling stuff cheaper than you. Or it could be any other number of reasons that you figure out and rationalize away what the problem is. Not my fault. It's their fault. It's that president. It's the economy. It's the local mayor. It's these rules and regulations. It's the health department. It's everything else except the person you see every morning in the mirror. You've got to accept responsibility, which means you have to admit there's a problem, and the problem is most likely you. And then we got to figure out a way to turn the ship around. I've told this story a few times before. I worked, again, for Rax Restaurants. They were a part of the company that also owned some burger chefs. In this particular town, it was Ironton, Ohio. This was in the early 80s, 1981, 1982, somewhere in there. And the store had been open in 79. So it had been open 2 to 3 years, which is about the time that most food truck owners throw in the towel, 2 to 3 years. So this particular store I opened as a crew person in 1979. And we opened to record-setting sales. It was amazing for Rax Restaurants. Right across the street from us was a burger chef that our company also owned. So that made it easy on us because we shared a lot of common ingredients. So we ran out of something, we could just walk across the street and borrow it, or they could come across the street and borrow stuff from us. Kind of neat, but the burger chef's no longer there. The Rax Restaurants, however, still is open today in 2025. But we were struggling in 1981. We were struggling to the point where the company was considering closing us because it was cheaper for them to just pay the loans and the real estate than it was to try to open the thing with employees and buy food. So even though they would generate income, they would lose less if they just basically shuttered the place and got rid of all the employees. The management didn't care a whole lot because, hey, we're managers. They will just transfer us somewhere else. We'll still have a job. All the employees that we had probably 20, 25 employees at the time, they would have lost their jobs. The next nearest Rax was, if you wanted to stay in Ohio, was about 35, 40 minutes away. And if you wanted to cross the Ohio River and get into Kentucky, you're still talking 25, 30-minute drive. So all those employees, they would have lost their jobs. So it came down to me. They said, if you want to save this thing, you need to get onto it because we are most likely going to close here in a few months. So we have a deadline now, a big, big deadline being set by our bosses. You have a deadline. Whether you're super successful and you're making money hand over fist, or you're worried every single day where you're going to find enough money to pay the bill that was past due yesterday, it still all comes down to it's on you. How are you going to make the changes necessary to make your business thrive? So what we did at Rax, a couple of different things, and I learned one of these things from Dave Thomas because I had a whole bunch of friends that worked at Wendy's at the time. The example that Dave Thomas set was when he took over a failing KFC franchise. He bought them at a very, very low price. And of course, his goal was to turn them around, make some money, and then sell them. But in order to achieve that goal, you got to do some work. So the very first thing that he did before he started advertising, because that's what people do first, they advertise. You can't advertise first. You got to fix what's wrong on the inside. There's a reason why the stores were failing. There's a reason why you're not making the kind of money you're wanting to make. Figure out what that reason is. Is it the food quality? Is it the service? Is it the friendliness? Is it the location that you're setting at? Is it just your general appearance on the outside of the food truck when you do set up? What is driving people away? What is making people go, not today? So what Dave Thomas did at those KFCs, he cleaned them up. He painted it. Pretty much his philosophy was if it doesn't move, we fix it, we repair it, we paint it. If it does move, we got to make sure they have the right attitude and is functioning the way that we expect them to function if it's a piece of equipment. So he got new uniforms for the employees. He weeded out the ones that would not make those changes necessary to bring people into the restaurant. So if they weren't going to smile, hit the road, Jack. If they're not going to be friendly and outgoing when they're engaging with a guest, even if it's only one guest an hour, hit the road. We don't need you. I want people that are going to be happy, that are going to be friendly, that are going to take care of the guest. And then when there's no guest to take care of, they are cleaning and working to improve the restaurant. They are monitoring the food quality. They're doing the job we pay them to do. Once he got those things under control, and it would only take a couple of weeks at most to get all of that stuff figured out. Now, of course, if he had to hire people, there's training involved, but we can't wait forever. Then he would invite people in. So that's what we did at Rax Restaurants. We did a speed of service contest on our drive-thru, which got the employees excited, and we got our drive-thru times down to where we were blazingly fast. Once we got the employees excited about, let's work on speed of service, and of course, we as managers were making sure the quality was where it needed to be. So the food was good. We got the service where it needed to be speed-wise. And then we made sure that the employees understood that part of speed is also being friendly. So it's fast and friendly, not just fast. So while we're working on those things and started this contest, we started going out to the public, doing fundraising events, doing charitable things, starting to help schools, again, fundraise, different organizations within the schools. And it doesn't mean we're giving away money. We're helping them fundraise. There are things you can do as a business that brings people to you, and then you can give something back to the organization that helped bring people to you. One of the simplest things that we did was that we do fundraising and then ask the school, here are coupons. Have your students give out these coupons. And all the coupon would say is, bring this back on Tuesday from 5 to 8, and we will donate a portion of your meal to the school. That was it. So the school is now taking their classrooms of kids, sending them out as little salespeople for you. Hey, come to the food truck. Hey, come to the restaurant. Got to do it on Tuesday night. Whatever you buy, they're going to donate 10%, 15%, 20%. Now, if you're going to be like, I can't donate because I can't make money, guess what? You don't make money if there's no one there. But at least you got people coming in. And now you've got sales. And if you donate 10% of it, then you donate 10% of it. Or you donate 15 or 20%. Make it worth their while. But that's how you get them to help you. Because there'll be a whole bunch of people that didn't even know you existed. And there's other things you can do like that. But the key is you got to get out and do them. You can't just be, woe is me. Again, dying until you're dead. Oh, look what's wrong. Oh my God, I got to get up. I don't want to get up. And then you start that internal self-talk about, man, I hate going to the food truck. It's going to be dead. Well, you just predicted your own future. It's going to be dead is what you tell yourself, and it's most likely going to be dead because you spoke it into existence. Wake up excited, because the alternative to waking up is being dead. You want to get your butt up out of bed. You want to be excited. You get to go control your life. Fix the problems. Make sure your food quality is where it needs to be, that you're serving amazing food and it's got some flavor to it. Make sure your service is stellar, it's fast, it's friendly, and then start inviting people in. You can do all that within 3 or 4 days. Start inviting people in, which is not just getting on social media. Well, I made my post today. I did my marketing. No, you made a social media post. That's not marketing. That's a part of marketing. But marketing goes beyond just making a post or two on social media saying, hey, we're open. Hey, we're sold out. I'm stupid. I don't know how to order food. That's not marketing. That's social media. They are two distinct different things. You got to have a good marketing program, which means you get up off your butt and you are making sure that people can see your business from distance, which is feather flags and other attention-getting devices so that people know that you exist. And then you're going and introducing yourself, which means you're knocking on doors, going into businesses and say, hey, can I put this flyer up in your break room that lets your employees know that they can come to my food truck and get a discount because my food truck is parked 1 block away from your business. You have to go out and market. You have to be aggressive. You can't just sit back and wait for stuff to come to you, because it ain't going to come to you. It's going to be diverted on its way to you by somebody who's out hustling. If you're not hustling, you're losing the battle. Again, you can live until you die. You can take action every single day until you're no longer capable of taking action. It means you're dead. Or you can just go ahead and die every day and make the rest of your life be miserable. If you got 10 years left or 30 years left, you can choose to be miserable. You can choose to be happy. But it starts with that person that's in the mirror every morning. Thank you so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding what we do helpful, please consider subscribing. And if you love what we do, show some support. There'll be a link in the description to make that happen. Until next time, you guys have a profitable week.